I have to play this because, well, it's just pretty hilarious. Here's our dear friend, Brian Stelter on CNN talking about potatoes and other subjects that he knows well. Let's listen.
Then why was Mr. Potato Head mentioned 35 times on Fox News and Fox Business this week? 35 times! Well, the answer is because it's easy. It's cheap. It's really easy to do, but it's so distracting. Potato Head distracts from the suffering so many people are going through. The Muppets controversy distracts from dire inequality. This stuff gets hyped up and passed around, mostly on Twitter, where lots of reporters, myself included, spend way too much time. And the risk is that it warps our judgment and makes sidebar stories seem so much more important than they really are. And that causes even more chatter. And that's how you wind up with Jeanine Pirro walking around CPAC asking people, "Have you seen Hunter Biden?" like she's a bad meme come to life. On Friday, I was about to go get dinner for my kids when Donald Trump Jr. attacked me in his speech at CPAC. Something about me looking like a gender-neutral potato head. And then the tweets started rolling in on my computer, people telling me about Donnie Jr. insulting me. And I thought of some really cutting responses, some really clever ways to reply, some way to go viral. But then I stopped. I didn't post anything. It was just another distraction. He wanted me to respond. This was just more BS fuel for the culture war, and it does not matter.
He does look like a gender-neutral potato, doesn't he? That's a good line. It's a general rule here. If someone has a good line against you, don't repeat it, because it sounds even funnier when you repeat it. And come to think of it, he does look a lot like a gender-neutral. I don't mean it as an insult. Yeah, it's simply an observation. That's all. It's not necessarily bad to look like a gender-neutral potato. There are worse things you could look like. But Brian Stelter had a great response. He had a great comeback, and he could have said it, but he was too big a man for that. That's all. You know, I'm too big a man. I got the greatest. I could take you down right now with my wit, but I'm too mature, so I'm not going to. I could, but I won't. Yeah, sure. And of course, the point he's making here is about the potato head and the Muppet disclaimer and all that. This is all distraction. It's a silly culture war. Why do you care about this? This is one of the tried and true tactics of the left. This is what they're always doing. This is one of their primary strategies. It's they make a big deal about something, and then if we respond to it, you know, they do something, make a big deal about it, and if we object, then rather than defend what they're doing, they'll say, "Why do you care about this? What do you care about this for?" So they'll do a certain thing, throw a literal parade in the street, say, "Look, everybody, look at this amazing thing we're doing." And if you stand off to the side and simply say, "You know, I'm not a big fan of that, actually. What are you making such a big deal about this for?" They're up on the parade float accusing you of making a big deal about it. That's the way it goes. With pretty much everything. That's the way they fight the culture war. And that's how they often get away with fighting it while pretending they're not fighting it at all. All they do is fight the culture war, but then claim that on the right, all we do is fight the culture war. And they're too busy and they don't care about these issues at all. Now, the potato head thing was, I think pretty much everyone was simply making fun of it. I don't think anyone was taking that issue very seriously. The Muppet thing, though, now this is Disney Plus. This is Disney, major corporation, billions and billions of dollars. They are the ones. We didn't do this. The Disney Corporation, they're the ones who decided to make a big deal out of the Muppets. Such a big deal that they thought it needed a disclaimer before you watch a show about puppets. They needed to put this lengthy, dramatic disclaimer on it. So who's the one making a big deal about the Muppets? Is it the group that's putting the disclaimer on it? Or is it the people who are simply saying, well, that's ridiculous, that's silly? Well, this is the strategy. and they get away with it most of the time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends.